before that, I was answering texts. You know how people say, I was doing emails while I was doing my text. So all the people that called or text last night after I went to bed, I texted them back. Hey, are you still
You're
up?
that guy, huh?
Hey, have you been to bed yet?
Oh, are you awake? I wanted to talk to you.
Thought I had a few minutes.
Yeah, that's funny because that happens to me every day, right? I go to bed about 8:45, 9 o'clock. I wake up at 4 a.m. And I always wait until about 9 a.m. to text people back. But I like your style. I've gotten to that point sometimes.
Yeah, you don't even have to say anything. You won't see anymore after 9 o'clock.
It'll train them.
That's right.
If I text this guy, I'm going to get a text back at 4 a.m.
That's right. We had a couple good days there. I noticed when I walked in, of course, at the house, it didn't seem that windy out in Methner. But by the time I got here, man, it was blowing.
Wait. Where do you live?
Methner. You've never heard of Methner? They call it Sefner, but it's kind of,
I figured that's where you were going with it. I was just making sure I heard it right.
It's where all those videos come from with the dancing people, and they got the lean on and all, craziness.
The lean with it, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Walmart, $5.79 and MLK.
Okay, so you know exactly where to go, huh?
Stay away from. You can bet on that.
Oh, man, I knew today was going to be special when I woke up.
I appreciate you coming in.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here. And when I heard the opportunity to join the infamous Mike Mahoney on Sunday morning, I was very excited.
I needed some content for sure. I'm just going to do jokes. At least we can get some accurate stuff coming in over here on the fishing scene because I know you're on it for sure. How'd y'all do this week?
It's been a good week, and really we were looking forward to this weekend. Yesterday was just absolutely spectacular weather, and it was a little tough towards the end of the week, but it got better and better as time progressed and allowed us to get out there and take advantage of that nice weather window. And it's been good. I mean, fishing is going really well offshore and deeper water when weather allows you to get out there. And that's been the biggest challenge lately with the weather is just getting out deep and having the flexibility to get where we want and fish where we want. And this week has been a little, this week coming up has been a little up and down, but it looks like it's calming down nicely for us. We should have a nice little midweek weather window, potentially another nice weekend as well. So weather keeps getting nicer and nicer, and it's that time of year, right, where hopefully the fan will start turning off a little bit and getting us out there.
A day or two, but I don't think we introduced you. I think everybody knows, of course, by the voice, but we got Captain Dylan Hubbard today.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, in studio and hanging out with Mahoney. Last time, I was thinking about it last night. Last time you and I did a show, just you and I, it was Saturday morning. I think it was like one of the first times Anderson was like, hey, I'm not going to be there. And I was stressed. I was like, what do you mean you're not going to be there?
That's a scary word when you first started.
Yeah.
By myself? That's what I thought today.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, so I'm going to be the one pressing the buttons? What do you mean? And it was a little nerve-wracking, but then you were able to join me, and I was still a little nervous, a little new. We didn't know each other as well at that point.
Right.
And so it's cool to be back and be a little bit more comfortable, more experienced, and know you better.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
I had a plan. We actually had another day set up where they weren't going to, Ben and Mike weren't going to be here, and then something happened where Mike and it might have been at the Gandy studio.
Mm-hmm.
Had this great show planned out. Catch Dylan Hubbard off guard. Ask him all kinds of good questions. Let people get to know him, and then, of course, I come in and I got the leader of the A-team. Mike was there, so my plan changed. I didn't say anything. Yeah, he messed it all up. Mike did. But, some of the things I wanted to talk about with you is, I've known you for a few years and known of your business forever, your dad, and seen him at shows forever. I want to let people know a different side.
Okay.
Because every time you're on the radio, you give such good information, fishing, regulations, fighting for our rights, just all kinds of stuff. I look forward to a lot of the info you put out on social media, but I think some of the things people don't really, get to know about you and
Okay.
who you are and what you do. So,
Yeah.
what kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to the same music as you, Mahoney. Rap music.
Well, I listen to everything.
Well, all right. Well,
Man, we play everything from Black Santana to El Chicano, man. Like everything.
But you prefer rap. Who's your favorite?
that's a hard one. I don't have a favorite. Like,
How about favorite song?
If people ask me my favorite food, I've got like a top 10. Look at me. Look at me.
Sure.
And same thing with rap music. I would say it's a top 10. I mean, T Grizzly is definitely one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Yo Gotti. I mean, when I was younger or early, I would definitely say like Jeezy, Gucci, Yo Gotti. But nowadays, more, I would say T Grizzly is probably one of my favorites. But he passed away. But Nipsey Hussle was.
Yep.
I love Nipsey. There's a few of them.
So it's
definitely.
mainly rap.
Mainly rap. If I'm listening to music, but nowadays it's a lot of podcasts. To be honest with you, I mostly listen to podcasts. But
And what podcast do you listen to?
the Ed Milet Show, Andy Frisella, it's called the MFCEO Project.
Right.
That one, and I really like the Ed Milet Show, and then Jim Quick, his show as well. I forget the name of. I think that's Quick Brain. That was.
Do they focus on just one thing, or is it a
like
variety?
Quick Brain is like all about health and improving your thought process and expanding your brain. And then the MFCEO project is exactly how it sounds. It's all about business and entrepreneurship. And Ed Milet is like a wide range. He does interviews with a bunch of different people. Like he just had Matthew McConaughey on his show. So he kind of spans the whole spectrum. But
I was going to mention that you can listen to the Pat and Aaron show on podcast on iHeartRadio, but then I realized based on the other podcast you're listening to, you're trying to get smarter, and that would be counterproductive.
Yeah, exactly. I love your show, but I don't know if I would listen to your podcast. That's a long show. You have every 3-hour episode is turned into a podcast?
We do, yeah. We post them all commercial free.
Oh, that makes it easier. That speeds it up a lot.
So you're riding in the vehicle on a day off with your family.
Oh.
T Grizzly's on the
No.
No?
That's if I'm with my family, we're typically listening to the Miss Rachel show, or like some kind of. My son likes this one guy. I forget his name, but he starts screaming his name when we get in the car, and it's
still
all
a
kid
podcast.
Stuff. No.
Oh, okay,
My son is 3.5. My daughter's 1.5. So it's all the baby songs and that kind of thing. Most of the time,
Can you recite any of those for us right now?
No.
Do you think you could sing?
Not off the top of my head. My voice
Baby
doesn't go quite
Shark,
as high.
is that
Luckily, they're
old
not
school?
into Baby Shark.
That's kind of old.
That is, that was before their time.
That's right.
Thank God.
You could recite that one probably, huh? Heard it
Unfortunately, because like anytime anybody sees a shark and it's like, oh, that's a baby shark, someone starts singing.
Somebody starts singing.
It's
That's
inevitable.
funny. On
Yeah.
the boat. That's great.
Every
man.
time. Every time.
That's awesome.
On the boat, on the dock, it's never ending.
What a
with the
fun
baby
time
shark.
fishing with Hubbard's. I was looking at some of those highlights from the video we did on one of your private charters. We did that show on Tales from the Dark Side. Man, just the happiness. You know what I mean?
So a bone to pick with you on that show.
Yeah.
How during that whole long 12-hour day, that huge wahoo, the one fish you caught the whole trip, the gag grouper, and the multitude of fish I caught.
How big was that gag group?
It was
by
pretty
the
small.
way?
It was pretty small, if I remember correctly.
Bigger than anyone else on the boat. Bigger than you. But go ahead. Go ahead.
How through all of that did Cameron somehow get enough time to show the fact the point where I tripped and fell 4 times? It was played 4 times in a 30-minute episode. I was like, how is this possible?
Yeah, they I don't get into
I feel like you were editing it together. You're like, oh, no. You only showed it twice, Cameron. We're going to need to double that.
It worked out good. The way the amount of seconds for the time it took up,
it even was used at B-roll at one point where we're talking in conversation and they cut to that clip.
It just seemed one thing I wanted to show, and believe me, I've never I guess one time I told him I wanted something out of there.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't paying attention and looking in the background. And one of my buddies was doing something he probably shouldn't have been doing, and they didn't see it. 4 people watched it and didn't see it on video.
Oh, wow.
I watched it, and that was the only time I've ever edited. So I kind of let them guys do what they want and create their own story. You know, it's a really
It's
neat,
a little bit more organic.
Well, and as you saw, you were there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real script.
No,
So
I'm well aware of that.
getting them to turn a camera on,
Yeah.
and catch you, tripping up, which everybody's done on the boat.
The cameras were up there because I was catching all the fish, right?
No, you were doing some kind of crazy thing that you thought you knew what you were doing, some this slow pitch jig thing. And
No, I wasn't. I was using bait just like you.
Why didn't you catch fish like me?
I was catching all the fish.
Oh, you were catching them little ones in mangoes.
Mangrove snapper fishing. I say it in all my seminars. I say it all the time. When I go out there fishing, you fish like my father. You have the patience, and you're using the big bait. And Mahoney's sitting back, and he's looking. He's got his 80-pound class, 100-pound class rod, this big hook, and his big bait set aside. And he's waiting. And then he drops down, and he catches the one big grouper of the day. Congrats. That was awesome. It was a nice fish.
Yeah.
That's not my
Probably
style
one
of
of
fishing.
my biggest.
That's not how I roll. I'm impatient, and I like that aggressive, smart mangrove snapper. I would rather fish 40-pound leader, 50-pound leader, double snell rig, and a small chunk of thread fin 9 out of 10 times.
Well, I got a question for you. Like, on your boats, you have, and I've heard of them, contests, right?
Yeah.
And what are those contests for?
So the jackpot you're talking about, where for biggest fish. And
Excuse me. What was?
I've never been able.
What is the jackpot again?
I see where you're going with this.
You're trying to put the story together. Why don't you just answer the question? Huh?
It's for biggest fish, but I've never been able to participate in the jackpot, even as a kid coming up, because the rule of thumb on the boat is if you didn't pay for the trip, you can't enter the jackpot because it wouldn't be fair.
Forget it, I quit.
I'm good with that. That's a good answer. But I got
I've never been
for you.
able to be in the jackpot.
No, never have.
Yeah.
Have you ever fished with friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, what fish is talked about the most?
Probably the guy who limited out on mangrove snapper first. Sat
You
around the
think
rest
so?
of the day wondering about when
He's over
everybody
there
else.
measuring barely legals just to get his limit, and you got a guy sitting over there waiting for a 15-pounder.
Well, I'm not saying I didn't catch
We're
the
going to
biggest fish
finish
sometime.
this one up. You know what's good about you trying to figure out what I'm going to ask? It leads me right to the next question.
Before I can even answer the last
Yeah.
one, I see how this is going to
The
go.
wheels are turning. I appreciate
for
y'all
having me,
tuning in. We got Captain Dylan Hubbard today, Mike Mahoney, no Ben, no Anderson,
No supervision.
none. We'll be right back.
I'm really tired of you guys going out in these boats and polluting the ocean. Can't you just go to and get your goddamn seafood?
All right, so you got to change this. You're getting blocked off.
That's good.
They can't see your beautiful face.
Oh, boy.
You don't need this
morning hair. No, I ain't even looking at them. I can't read them. The lettering's too small. How the snook showing up in the passage yet?
Dude, definitely. Showing up in the passes, starting to get pretty thick.
Did they ever leave there, like under your
Oh, yeah.
docks and stuff?
Yeah.
The majority, but you always see them, right?
No.
Wintertime?
No, they straight up disappear. Like you won't even see them for
We
a
used
good
to
portion.
fish Mary's Pier
Mm-hmm.
all year.
Yeah,
I'm not saying the amount of snook are in there all year,
yeah.
but it seems like we caught snook all year.
I mean, you can catch snook all year in John's Bass, but do you see them stacked under the dock in the
like
morning?
they
No,
get.
no. They disappear, and you can still catch them in this wintertime there, and people do, but it's much fewer and further between. Mostly trout. It kind of switches, and you see a ton of trout around, and then people really get into the sheep's head. But from this time of year-ish, like March, April, all the way through till like November, it's pretty stacked with snook.
We used to pull in there. We'd fish the intercoastal. I'd launch at the ballpark over there in was it Blinds Pass Road. behind those
Egan Park.
condos.
Egan Park.
Yeah, good place. You can start snook fishing right away. But we would end up
That area, that strip, is where I grew up fishing. I bought my Carolina skiff when I was 8.5, 9 years old, and I fished from my house, which was right around the corner, that Blinds Pass Bridge to the jetties. I mean, just every freaking opportunity at night.
That point
those dock
right
lights
there, where you know that last point, and then back in that last cove too, as you're going out.
Yeah, that's and that dock had train trussels on the bottom.
Yes.
It was like 15 feet.
Yeah,
The snook stacked
with,
up.
Brian Strickland and Tommy.
That's hilarious.
They both showed me that. I started fishing Mary's Pier with Strickland when he was 14.
Wow.
He was working for me 14 or 15.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That dock was one of my favorite. You know they ruined it, right?
Mm-mm.
Like when I was probably 17, 18.
You talking about the one inside to the right?
So you're leaving Blinds Pass, you go under the bridge. On the right side, you come up to that little cut.
Yeah.
And in that little cut, there's a little sandbar. That one dock on the end.
That's it, right past the sandbar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived at that dock. Yeah. There was keeper gags there.
There was another good dock on the way out of Blinds Pass from there, past the bridge, you know, as you go out. And it was on the left, and we called it the Cape Horn.
With that Cape Horn boat and the brown house. It was like a brown wooden fascia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, go out to the pass. That was killed.
But the topography of Blinds Pass has changed so much.
Well, when they dredged it 8 years ago, I probably stopped. 7 years ago, things changed out there.
And that home that we were talking about with that really good dock, new owners came in and they took all that stuff off the bottom. They totally made it white sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. They paid a bunch of money and dredged that whole area, so it totally ruined it. Nick Niev said, "You're putting Dylan on the spot. He's sweating." I was. I felt like I was getting grilled there. What's up, man?
Hey, you can bet on this. I'm never gonna hang you out to dry.
Yeah.
You're one of my guys. Why would I do that?
No, I got you.
I will hang all of you out to dry.
I know you will. You're from fucking up north.
Just don't forget the break mics are live on Facebook.
Oh,
FYI.
Time do you get to the store in the morning?
What's that?
Time do you get to the store in the morning?
What store?
He gonna dig himself in a hole. You know, because all I got to do is tell the truth. I got 35 years behind me of working. We're gonna talk current, live, love, laugh,
Oh, let's do it.
and respond. How about somebody not responding to your text?
I respond to
You
your
know
text.
what I mean? Do you ever have these people that like a day late? They're so big time that they ain't responding. So you got to text them back and say, "Do I take that as a yes or no?" Or what? I mean,
I thought it was clear where we
Anderson,
were at.
He hit that top flight with Anderson. Bam. That's why we call him the A-Team, Pat.
Oh, that is not true.
Finishing up my first brisket today.
So the store, I come in whenever I'm needed. Most of the time, right around 10.
Be around when I would get there. If it comes out really good, I could maybe drop it.
Yeah, hell yeah. If you're
What time do they close? Or are they open? 9?
Yeah.
How many times have I swung by there to get fucking tuna? If I make a good brisket, I
There
should
you
drop
go.
some off.
And it won't. I got that Louisiana trip coming too, so that tuna's not far away. Perfect timing.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know how
Smart
it's gonna
man.
be. It's my first one.
I bet it'll be fine because it's slow cooked, right?
It started last night at like a little after 8 o'clock.
And I'm sure you look for
All
guidance.
night, it's still going.
He got guidance from Dr. Barbecue.
Yeah.
Well,
Hall of Fame barbecue.
how is it not going to come out good?
I mean, because they say brisket's tough.
Huh.
He knows when we're starting exactly because he understands this.
Yeah. And this will tell you. If you look,
Yeah.
this is the commercial. This is actually how much you have in the break.
I got
If
you.
you want
How
to
much
look-
time's left?
So like now,
Yeah.
20 seconds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have the spots that we're supposed to do?
No, I didn't bring them up. I was hoping you did. It's going to be the windows, and we're supposed to do that at the top of the hour, which is right away. Who's the window guy?
Reese.
Yeah, and got to text something happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want me to do that?
Yeah, that's also a weather report.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can do that.
You know what that is?
Yeah, we just do the
Not
weather.
that I can't do it. I ain't got no glasses.
I got it.
We can break right in with that if you want to.
Okay.
I am Tuna Boy.
That's all I want to fish for is Tuna Boy.
I am Tuna Boy.
That's all I want to fish for.
I am Tuna Boy.
That's all I want to fish for.
I am Tuna Boy.
Man, you guys got the spots on Sunday.
Pat's on it.
Yeah. You got to watch out with Pat.
Yeah.
Be careful what you say.
That's right.
He probably already cut that segment about me listening to rap music. I feel like that's
He's waiting for you to start singing.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I knew you were setting me up with that whole baby shark thing earlier.
Yeah, I was trying to. I thought you'd get right into it.
Mm-mm. No, I was born at night, but not last night.
The carrot didn't work.
But speaking of carrot and kind of getting out on the water and taking advantage of some weather windows, if you missed out yesterday, you missed out big time. Absolutely spectacular weather yesterday. Right ahead of the little front. We are getting a cold front today. It's going to be pretty weak, pretty unnoticeable if you're not paying attention to the prog charts. Not going to see much of a decrease in temperature. It is going to get a little bit more dry today, but it sets right back into a high pressure tomorrow pretty quickly, which will bring back the humidity pretty fast. Tuesday, we'll have a little bit of reprieve. Tuesday's actually looking a lot nicer now. Originally, Monday and Tuesday was going to be pretty stiff east wind with that high pressure, but it looks like Tuesday's setting up to be a pretty decent day, and hopefully some good fishing. The backside of a front, backside of a low pressure, right before another pressure ridge sets in. Wednesday, Thursday, not looking so great. We're going to get a pretty stiff south wind as an occluded front pushes down onto our area. Thursday looks like the windiest, rainiest day. So if you missed yesterday, right now, as it stands for nearshore and offshore fishing, around midweek, Tuesday-ish, Wednesday-ish, looks like you're going to be your best opportunity. Not stellar right home, bay boats 50 miles from shore weather, but pretty nice weather there Tuesday. And this weather report was brought to you by our friends over there at Reese Windows. They're celebrating 51 years as the fastest and most trusted impact window and door company in Florida. At Reese, they install most windows and doors in only 6 to 8 weeks, and now you can win them absolutely free. Just pick up the phone and text the word HAPPY, HAPPY, to 20129 to get a chance to win $15,000 in new impact windows from Reese. Remember, text HAPPY to 20129 for a chance to win. Pretty bad to the bone.
Yeah, don't be thinking about your windows when the storm's coming this way. If you need them, you better go get them.
And that's
if you want your windows there in weeks, pick up the phone and just text Reese. If you want your windows there in weeks, pick up the phone and just text Reese.
Man, he is on it.
Hey, Mike,
He's
what'd you
even
think of
got
that,
jingles.
buddy?
That was something there.
We got Captain Mike from down in Big Pine Key. What's up, buddy?
Well, I got to be very honest with you. If the last week and a half in the Florida Keys has shown me anything, even down here in Paradise, sometimes us captains have to go back to church and pray. And my God, I worked harder in the last 9 out of 11 days to catch fish. There was something in even the people that live down here 24/7,
Right.
that fish commercially and everything. It was a hard week and a half of fishing.
transition week, I guess. Some moving out and the other ones moving in.
Yeah.
No, I was coming in with, and it was weird. I was coming in with 2 dolphin, 1 blackfin, 3 snapper, and usually there's 1 or 2 fish. There's a 1A and a 1A minus that, you get them and they're there, and some of the guys down here talk about it going to the well one too many times, whatever area or something. I got my books out, books that I have written in to look for new spots I hadn't fished in years, and it was humbling to say the least. But everybody seemed happy, and when they come to the Keys, they just want to be on the water. So that's half the battle right there. I win half the battle the minute I leave the marina. So
that's right.
But
it's a lot more than
just. It's just
a lot more than catching fish, though, right, Mike? And I know you know that.
Right.
Sometimes customers aren't that way. Customers think that there's a yield of weight that goes with the amount you pay, and they're really missing the boat. But it sounds like your worst week in the Keys is like an average day offshore here in Tampa. I got 1 blackfin and 3 snapper.
Right. I was going to Dylan understands. I was going to say this: if I'm a weekend warrior, if this wasn't something I was doing to collect money, a paycheck, whatever, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be like, hey, as far as I'm concerned, I'm earning my keep, and I can make my payments on my boat, out of my own pocket off my other job. But if you're doing that full time for a living, and yes, I transitioning more to full-time guide and getting away from the nurse, and I still carry a little bit of insurance for myself and 1 more of my kids before he gets to college. But I'm getting more into fishing more and nursing less, and this week would have been one of them weeks to say, to me it wasn't the stellar week, but I will say this real quick before I get off here: tarpon are everywhere. The tarpon guys are going nuts.
Nice.
So if you want to come down and catch the Silver King, now's the time.
That's awesome, man.
Sounds to me, he starts out talking about how bad the fishing is.
That was quite the
Keys
juxtaposition.
isn't that bad. Holy cow, that's a guy who's spoiled, Mike.
I am. I'm spoiled. Hey, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I was blessed as a kid. Bradenton, 2.5 miles from Anna Maria Island. And Mom believed in taking vacations, and she picked the Florida Keys. And I've never looked back and said my childhood is bad, man. From a 13-foot flat skiff to a 35 contender, from 13 to 52 years old, I am blessed in everything that I have done in my life. And I think I got my mom to thank for it. So
good job, Mike.
I got to live in paradise in 2 places. You guys have a great day. God bless the tight line.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, good call right there. We've been had a little clicking on the phone lines. That's not us.
We had Boss Man yesterday, John Momola, as our man behind the glass, and
that's kind of nervous, isn't it? That's
it was
a little pressure on you there.
And it also, to that point, it's quite the juxtaposition between yesterday and today, because I had the Boss Man behind the glass, and I had 2 feds as guests. I had Emily Muhlstein from the Golf Council, and I had Nick Haddad from Return 'em Right.
Boy.
So it was me and 2 feds and the Boss Man, and now today I've got Pat and
that's like Mike. That's like he was talking about, from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, exactly. Pat's a lot more laid back. We had a good time before you came up here.
So what y'all
since
talk
you showed
about?
up so late?
I want to hear about this federal people.
Yeah, we talked about return them right, making sure you return them right, do your part, and have your best practices in place to make sure you're releasing those fish and giving them a chance to survive to the next year. Because, I mean, especially this year, right? We're thinking, and it seems like there's a really good chance come late June, all of July, really most of red snapper season, we're going to have red grouper and gag grouper closed. So that means people fishing in 150 foot of water, 200 foot of water catching red snapper are going to be releasing red grouper and gag grouper that they happen to encounter or come across. So it's going to be really important, especially this year, that people are prepared and know what to do when they encounter.
It's kind of tough.
It is.
When you're out there and the fish is obviously dead, let's say.
It's not though. I mean, one of the biggest eye-opening things for me,
He bites let's say a shark bites him a third of him off.
Okay.
Then let's put it like that.
You're being extreme. I see where you're going. But what I'm saying though is what was really interesting to me, they held this thing called the Release Mortality Symposium. It was a bunch of scientists got together. They invited a few fishermen to just be involved in the process, I guess, to be decorations in the room. And one of the most interesting, groundbreaking things to me was what happened here in Central West Florida. I think it was Steve Papin who caught the fish on an FWRI trip, or Florida Wildlife Research Institute trip. They caught a speckled hind or a Kitty Mitchell grouper in like 480-ish foot of water, somewhere around there, just inside 500 foot. It came up, its eyes were blowed up. It had the stuff coming out of its anal.
Looked like it was done.
Yeah, I mean, scales were sticking
run
up.
over.
I mean, it just looked like this fish came up dead, and it floats up because it's so full of gas.
Right.
And they take that fish, they worked it up, they vented it, they put it on a descending device, they tagged it, and sent it back down to bottom in 480 foot of water. It was caught 6 months later in almost 800 foot and had grown.
Wow.
Yeah. 6 months later, it had grown and it had traveled to 800 foot of water and was caught by a commercial angler and harvested. And they turned the tag back in like, hey, do you guys want this info? And it was like one of the most groundbreaking, it's called a tag recapture study. It was one of the most groundbreaking ones because it was such a huge depth of water. So even if the fish looks like it's totally got no shot of surviving, those descending devices can work. The trick that a lot of people don't realize is if you get a big fish up, like a big red snap or a big gag grouper, a lot of times they have so much volume of gas, it's really hard to get them on a descending device. And people are like, I'm not using 10 pounds of weight to send them down to bottom. I wouldn't either. We only keep about 5 pounds of weight on our descending devices. What we do when we get one of those big 30-pound, 35, 40-pound gags is you vent them and then put them on the descending device. So that way 5 pounds of weight can take them to bottom. Because if you get a 40-pound gag and you put them on 5-pound descending device, it's not enough weight to bring that volume of air down to the bottom. So you can cheat and use a venting tool and then use the descender. And those two things in conjunction will make sure that 40-pound gag gets to the bottom and you're able to catch them and keep them next time.
Well, and that's the main thing. In any type of management, you want to make sure what you're not harvesting is making the herd and that's the fishery better.
And that's a huge problem that we face as a recreational fisherman right now is the sheer numbers of recreational fishermen out there in the Gulf. There's only so much pie to go around, right? And as more people try to take bites of the pie, the slices get smaller and our seasons shrink. All right, more people are involved in fishing. That's a great thing. But at the same time, we have to remember that we all have to do our part. When you catch that fish that's out of season or undersized or it's a closed, you got to make sure it gets back in the water. And yeah.
Another break. This is going quick. We got the man in here with us today, Captain Dylan Hubbard. I don't even feel like I need Butler Boyd now. I got you behind me. John Butler was in the store this week. Great people. Butler Boyd, look them up. We'll talk about them a little bit more in the show, and we'll be right back with Captain Dylan Hubbard.
Captain, if there's any trouble, I'm going to kick back and then stack up.
I'm usually doing pretty good without.
You don't want the actual.
Well, it's reading them. I feel like a robot.
I got
that. I kind of look at them, hit the talking points. And John Butler was in the store this week. He's been shopping with us forever. Good guy. Had a terrible mishap, but it turned out good.
Yeah.
He's working on his trailer, right?
Yeah.
So he comes by and gets some trailer parts, and the trailer's parked out in front of his house. No boat on it. Perfect time to work on it. Some construction guys driving down the road texting and hits the trailer.
Whoa.
Folds the tongue jack. Now, luckily, he wasn't sitting on top of it or working on it when this guy drove by.
Wow.
And he was honest and stopped and paid for it, and John took it easy on him. But who worse to hit?
Yeah, a lawyer. I was just about to say, you don't want to get in a car accident.
That, I thought, He goes, no, he was, he didn't try to run or none of that. That would have been foolish. I'm sure that would have been a fiasco.
I'm sure the lawyer had really nice cameras on his house.
Yeah.
So I put in a ticket because we're smart enough not to have something here that I can just fucking reset.
Yeah.
You put in an order with an engineer.
It's all on the cloud.
The poppin' thing was happening yesterday.
Yeah, no, I know. I saw John emailed everybody and was like, "Hey, this is going on." Blah blah blah. I put in a ticket.
He said when it happens like that,
another ticket.
It means that it's studio wide, right?
I don't know that.
That's what he was saying. Because it must be because it was happening on WFLA yesterday, and now it's happening here.
Well, I was getting after the guy a little bit on the message thing. You're like on a
text thread.
Yeah, and I'm like, are we ever gonna figure this out, or are we just gonna be dealing with this forever? He's like, I know that there's people on it, and it's not just Tampa. And I was like, well, that is encouraging.
It's not just Tampa. Yeah. Statewide, we're having this problem.
I mean, who knows? It might be iHeart-wide for all I know. I mean,
that's crazy.
That's hilarious.
Keep getting the cameras, get the microphone, doing the break.
Pat's like, I'm not coming back in here.
It's fine.
That's wild, man.
It's frustrating.
iHeart's big too. It's all across the whole nation, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Might be the biggest radio company in the country, but if not, it's right there.
Yeah. I did a big thing through Visit St. Pete Clearwater with some young guy who's out of Atlanta. I forget his name, but he's got this big station in Atlanta and a big show on the station. And we did like an interview about St. Pete Clearwater and like what the area has to offer. And they chopped it up and made it into commercials, and they're running it on the iHeart Media like family of stations in the Atlanta area. And a bunch of our guests already come down from that area for the 39-hour. We probably have 25 guys that travel down from that, and they all say how much they hear it on the radio.
Oh, that's awesome.
So iHeart must have like a really big reach.
I think at one time, Clear Channel, before they bought them, was like the biggest, and then iHeart bought them. So you
well, they didn't really buy it.
No?
It's the same company.
Oh, okay.
They just rebranded it.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
As a matter of fact, like, if you ever, I don't know if you ever still see billboards that say Clear Channel Outdoors. Because we still own those. Like, that's still us.
That's
Clear Channel Outdoors is like a division of iHeart Media.
Okay.
But yeah, they rebrand. Like, I never worked for a different company, for instance. Like, because I started at Clear Channel. You know, my badge was fucking my stupid face was fucking. They put it on like. I started here almost 11 years ago now.
Yeah.
And like when I get press credentials and shit, for like
that same pic?
They use the same pic
from 11 years ago. I love it because I got no grays at all. People look at it and they're like, I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. You sure this is you?
That's funny. I wouldn't have known that. One thing Mike texted me about is making
conversation.
Yeah, that and promoting where that catch beer is at from Coppertail.
And do you have all that on there?
Mm-hmm.
You want to start in right with that?
Sure. Mention the fishing conversation and then where to find the beer.
Yeah.
All right.
And then Nick's on the phone.
Nick Nieves?
Don't know.
It's got to be from Tampa Bay Fishing Club, or from Skyway Fishing Club.
He was up this this morning, I think.
He went fishing yesterday. He went on he did a 10-hour charter with us. Jackpot. With a mangrove snapper.
Was that biggest or most?
Biggest.
Okay.
Mangrove snapper.
So most really don't matter.
I don't think you understood what I was saying. I fish for mangrove snapper. It doesn't mean I don't catch a big fish.
You don't fish for big ones?
No, I catch mangrove snapper. That's what I like.
You're catching all that other
I might catch the biggest
too.
mangrove.
Once you use bigger baits, bigger rod, you'll catch bigger fish.
Yeah, with much less action, much less bites. That's
so it's
true.
the bite. I used to be like that.
Yeah, chasing the bite, setting the hook. I think that's the biggest.
But you know what? What happened? I'll wait for the radio to talk about this. I guess. Man, it just comes out. I don't even,
just priming
hey,
the
it
pump.
surprises me as much as you. It's like, wow.
I just had that a good idea. That was me.
That was me that said that. One time they were talking before the show, and they said, hey, Mike, I want to tell you this so we can do. I go, no, don't tell me nothing. I work better. Just boom, right at
Off
me.
the hip.
Yeah.
So Fogel calls in on Sunday too.
What's that?
Fogel calls in on Sunday too.
Yeah. Usually.
Yeah.
If they flounder, it's just a fluke. It's the T.A. Mahoney Real Animals Fishing Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
Man, you guys got Jay-Z as an intro on Sunday?
Pat's on it. Yeah. Mix Master Pat. He scratches, too. The second hour, he scratches.
Funk Master Pat.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, want to make sure we don't forget to give a shout out to our Bartow Ford fishing conversation coming up here. That is June 6th, I believe. And the man, the myth, the legend, the tarpon fisherman himself, Mike Anderson, is going to be the special guest talking tarpon and all things Boca Grande. It's going to be pretty fun. And you had some choice words about that, didn't you?
I was just joking around with him, but how... I asked him who the guest was going to be. But how much better can you get than Mike Anderson? His logo's a tarpon, spent many, many years on this West Coast catching big tarpon from Boca Grande to Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Right in the middle of tarpon season. The date was what?
June 6th.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
wow.
June 6th, 6 to 8 p.m. Going to be a blast. There's free food from Silver Ring Cafe. It's going to be real interesting hearing Mike talk in tarpon, on the beach, on the pass, whatever you want to talk about, even snook, whatever you want to talk about. Mike likes doing it kind of like a conversation, so it doesn't necessarily have to be tarpon specific. So join us 6 to 8 p.m., June 6th, Tuesday at Bartow Ford. You got free food from Silver Ring Cafe. You got free swag from the Real Animals. You have a chance to win a Bull Bay rod and some products from Engel Coolers as well. Hopefully I'll make it out there. When these whole things started, I was trying to make it out there. I made 2 of the Bartow Ford events. The last 2 I haven't been able to make. One was because of a fisheries meeting, but this last one, man, traffic is a bear. And from Pinellas County to Bartow Ford, the coast, the west coast of Pinellas County to Bartow Ford, without traffic, it's about an hour and 45 minutes. And it's worth it. It's a cool place. Silver Ring Cafe food is worth the drive.
Awesome.
The Devil Crab. But with traffic, the last time I looked at it was 2 hours and 48 minutes.
I remember that. Yeah, you had a wreck or something on one of the bridges or
something.
And it, it's like it's a great place to be, a great venue, wide open, good people, good food.
Yeah.
Leave early.
Leave early.
That's what I did. I got there about 30, which I don't really like sometimes getting you because you can get other stuff done during the week. Well, I went over there early just to make sure I was going to be there, and it's a short run.
Yeah.
In
or
Hillsborough County.
go over, if you're from Pinellas County, go over to Mahoney's and make a day of it.
Yeah.
Go there for the afternoon, go look around,
and then
get some of those lures. One thing I got to ask you, man, is I hear that you have the huge selection of the nomads. I got to find out who your rep is because our nomad guy, every time I call, they're like, yeah, you can't get those. Like, you must have like an in at Nomad. They must have your name on the wall or something. Because you've got all. I heard you even had the Squid Trex Nomad lures, that new stuff that no one can get.
All up in my mailbox.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you just got to.
You got to connect.
You got to jump on it. And maybe it is that.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely, give you my reps. I'm sure it's the same rep.
I would imagine.
Ray?
I don't remember. It was a while.
What am I thinking? They order from the shop. You don't go into the shop.
What do you mean?
What am I thinking? What do you hit the dock and back home again, aren't you? Don't answer text till later.
No, that's not.
Let's get back on big fish. Okay, we were talking about it, and you were kind of saying how many mangrove snapper you caught that day, and I only caught one.
Don't we have a caller?
35.
Isn't there a
we do.
Oh,
Let's
there we go.
to Nick. What's up, Nick?
Good morning, guys. How are you, man?
How you doing, buddy? You driving around this morning?
No, sir. I'm listening to the great Mike Mahoney and the awesome Dylan Hubbard this morning. Just resting from my beautiful trip out on the Gulf of Mexico on the best marina on the planet, Hubbard's Marina, with the young gun, Captain James, who absolutely killed it yesterday.
That's awesome.
And I won the pool with a beautiful 3.5, 4-pound mangrove. And it was the first fish caught of the day, and it lasted through the other day. I beat out the hogfish. I beat out everything.
That's
on
awesome.
a very light ride out there, Mr. Mahoney.
That
Thank
is
you
awesome.
for making Dylan sweat, by the way. I never seen Dylan sweat. That's
He
funny,
ain't
man.
sweating. That's just a show.
The first segment, I was sweating a little bit. You got it, Nick. You called it right. I felt like I was in a hot seat.
And what was the jackpot?
I see Dylan get nervous, man. Dylan's usually the cool master. He's sweating a little bit.
Hey Nick, what was the little jackpot for? I mean, what was the title of it? What was
the largest overall fish?
Oh, okay. It wasn't the most, right?
No.
Don't walk into this trap. Don't walk into this trap.
I only caught one keeper fish. I only caught one keeper.
Oh, just like Mahoney.
That's all you need, baby, to win that prize. You're still on cloud 9 winning that money, huh?
Yep. Hey, man, I never won a hot pool or anything of the sort, man. That to me was surprising. But I got a couple of things to say. First of all, thank both you guys for what you do for this industry. I have the most respect for you two guys right there, man. You guys do more for anybody. Dylan posted a video about a week ago about an older man named John Sasser, who had his rod stolen right in front of him. And it was all caught in Marina, which is awesome. Well, yesterday we surprised him. You know, we bought him a pen combo, and we also took him fishing for free on us.
That's awesome,
to
man.
get some of that, I'm passing on some of the stuff that I learned from both you guys. How to, share the wealth and keep it moving. So I took 70 guys out yesterday. We had barbecue. We have more food on that boat for like a 39-hour trip, man. But if you want to do a charter, you got to go to Hubbard's Marina. Captain James, Smokey, Mike Lee, they were all just professional as can be. And Butch, I can't even say it any more better. To say, I got 4 more charters coming up with these guys.
Yeah.
And all with the Sunshine Sky with all my members, all private charters. And thank you, Dylan, for what you do. And thank you, Mike, for your donation, because your ride went also to the female last night. So
that's awesome.
Good deal.
Thank both you guys. That's all I want to say today, man. Thanks for everything you guys do, and thank you for teaching me how to be a better person every day.
How much did you guys pay
Thanks,
this guy?
Nick. Well, he was talking about what Dylan did for him, and Dylan's,
No, before you launch into this and get sarcastic on me, because I can see it in your eyes, he hit a good point, and you do set the bar, man. When it comes to like small business, being part of the community, T.A. Mahoney's has always been there. Now, before I even knew you personally, that was an example.
Well,
to really follow, to give back to the community.
You do I surround myself with those kind of people, because if you don't believe that customer's the most important,
Amen.
You're not really somebody I want to do business with.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time, and one thing I can guarantee is service, especially today.
Amen.
Because people aren't getting it today, and I see it. I saw a guy, and it kind of disappoints me. I know retail is getting different, dealing with customers. It's, we got to listen to these younger people, because those are the ones that are buying. So there's different things, and it's tough for me, somebody who's not the tech guy, to figure out all this stuff and to go the right way with all this retail. And I heard a guy yesterday say that how upset he was on the weekend. He owns his own business, that he's getting these phone calls about work.
Get out of the business.
And 2 of them probably will never show up. And I thought to myself, wow, where has it gotten to that the business owner thinks he has a say-so? And I've said this before on the radio show. Some of the guides I see and the responses they have about their customers blows me away.
Yeah.
Because, Jason Lineberger, Captain Jason, came in yesterday, and we were talking about some stuff, and he told me, he goes, when I realized I'm an entertainer, I'm not the go kill everything, and I get the biggest and the most, and it really made, and we all know that. It is, you're entertaining those clients when they come on your boat, and as long as it's not illegal or morally wrong, they got you. They own that boat. Yeah. That's what you're in business for, is to solicit that business. Same way with T.A. Mahoney. I go to feed the dogs on Sunday. You pull up to that gate and need something to get you off the road, need help, need whatever, I guarantee I'm going. I guarantee I'm walking in that store and opening it up and grabbing the bearing you need. I'm not afraid to give my phone out on the internet. I don't care. If I'm not, it's like when I go to sleep, my phone's off.
Yeah.
I ain't answering alarm calls. The dogs will take care of that, and the alarm company calls the next guy in line.
The police will wake you up from a dog killing somebody.
Yeah. That's all they're worried about, is come get the dog so we can scrape him off the sidewalk. But, I think personally, and I don't need to be, it's normal, it's business. Same way your family's been. That customer's number one.
Yep.
As long as you're not, they're not trying to take advantage, which you all got to watch that too.
Amen.
But overall, that customer's number one. Whatever he wants, I'm doing. Promise you.
And you're never clocked out. It's 24/7, 365.
Yeah, and that's what being in business is about.
Yeah. Got to do the work.
Yeah, it's comical sometimes when I see people say, well, I got to take time off for this or that. I say, well, what got you there? You forget what put you to that situation to where you have that.
Yeah. My wife, actually, we were just having this conversation.
You need to just tell her to call me. I'll straighten all that.
No.
No?
So that scares me when you say things like that. But she just recently booked a little trip, a little family vacation together. And then the very next day, I had a long day at work, and she called me, and I was like, hey, I'm making sure we can afford that vacation. We're earning that vacation right now.
That's right.
And that's what it's all about. Is you gotta, for me, that work-life balance, right? Trying to make sure that I carve time out for the family and do have time. But you better believe on that vacation, if something happens, I'm going to pick up my phone and handle the situation.
We've done it.
And when the kids go to sleep, when she goes to sleep, I'm going to be on my computer answering emails and connecting.
Sure. And taking that time out, I definitely do it also. When you go on vacation, you got somebody there that'll take care of everything, hopefully.
Having a good team, a good team around you.
That's right.
We can't do it alone.
Yeah,
and that's what it's all about, having good people. Being smart enough to hire people smarter than you.
Right. That's not hard for me to do, because about everybody's smarter than me.
It's not hard for anybody. Yeah.
But for sure, it's I like being out in that showroom. I don't like doing that paperwork. I can tell you that.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
Plus, I get to see what's biting. And people go, well, how do you see what's biting? I look at the lures that are getting sold.
Yeah.
When they come in for those docks jigs, and they get every yellow and white in an 1/8 ounce, and they're empty peg, I know what's going on.
And the pink feather,
that's right.
The pink fly that goes above it.
That's right. I'm going down to the power plant. It's that time of year. That's what we get over there at the store. Even trolling lures or jigs and planers. You know how it is. That stuff starts to pick up. You know it's happening. And I can tell you right now, it's happening. Everything. Offshore, inshore, kingfish bite.
This is the time of year.
Yeah. Best time of year there is. We got Captain Dylan Hubbard and just Mike Mahoney, regular guy. I'm for the recreational fishermen. I like killing all of them. We'll be right back.
I'm going to have fun, and you're going to have fun. We're all going to have so much fun we'll need plastic surgery to remove our smiles. You'll be whistling symphony.
That's a good one. I'm for the recreational angler.
I kill fish.
All right. Good morning, Janelle. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Michelle. Appreciate you guys all tuning in and hanging out with us this morning. Morning, LaShonda. Morning, Gary Jones, Tim McCardle, Jason Patrick, Christine, Brian, Jay-Z Hoffman, David Bruns. Appreciate you guys. Melissa, Lynette, Joe, Sam, what's up, man? Van Hubbard, William Keene, Carl Lovett, Robert Riggs, good morning, y'all. Appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your Sunday morning. It's weird being here on a Sunday. Good morning, Melissa. Brandon Thrasher, what's up, buddy? Deke Dorsey, what's going on, my friend? Did you go and find more coffee?
Yes. I'd have made you some if you wanted it.
What, you got a Keurig out there?
They do.
Yeah. No, I've got coffee. You got a minute 20.
Do you put this in too?
What? Yeah, that's the Facebook, or that's the break mic. So when we're on break, that's the mic that picks you up.
And it automatically turns on and off?
Yeah, no, I turn it on.
Oh, okay,
and off over
through
here.
what you're doing.
Yeah. That way, when we're on break, our mics are on, and then when we're off break, we go to the radio mic.
Your dad just called, just so you know. It sounded even worse than the last phone call. I'm probably just going to wave off the phones until...
Sounds good to me.
I'll call, answer them, and if they start to sound a little normal, we'll put them on.
He probably called from the property, or he's up in Colorado right now.
Really?
Yeah, so
It's
he's
not,
probably...
It's not him, though. It's our phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe. I figured it might be. And last time I talked to him, I couldn't...
clipping thing,
Yeah.
you never really get that from people's phones. They might go in and out.
I gotcha.
But it doesn't clip like that. It's the technology.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's getting
We're
even
so
worse.
Smart. I'm so smart getting rid of real phones. Like, oh, we don't need that.
We don't need
Cloud.
real phone lines.
Everything needs to be on the cloud.
That was Van Hubbard who called.
Yeah.
Not my dad.
I thought I saw that on
Yeah.
there, yeah.
WDAE and AM 620. Hey, where do you wiggle your worm? The captains want to know. It's the T.A. Mahoney Real Animals Fishing Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
No?
No.
I thought you picked that one out.
I don't rock the Beatles, man.
That was a
I had to
the most.
I had
the
to
most of.
I had to look at the board to know what song that was.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, I like country music, don't get me wrong. Country music is probably a close second, But outside of that, don't know much.
Nothing, no heavy metal.
Oh, heavy metal. I like some. I like listening to heavy metal, but I couldn't tell you what band is playing. We used to have this one captain. Man, I'm going to blank on his name, but he was awesome, and we used to work together a lot when I was probably 15 to 20 years old. And man, he would just 4 a.m., 5 a.m. ride out. We'd be listening to like that screaming heavy metal music, the headbanger stuff.
Well, it puts you in the mood.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Them Kingfish tournaments, I remember riding with Crofton, and we'd usually play some kind of Metallica or something because the weather wasn't good. You were about to
get your butt kicked.
Day full of butt whipping, wet, hopefully catch fish.
Yeah. Speaking of getting your butt kicked.
And can I just ask one question real quick? Like in a Kingfish tournament.
Never done one.
If you did, what are you shooting for? Biggest or most? Oh, okay. Go ahead. Well, what you were saying. I'm just trying to figure out where all this...
I've never fished a Kingfish tournament, because I don't have to prove to everybody else that I can catch the biggest fish,
I'm thinking
I'm
that
very
what
comfortable
happens
with
is
myself.
that you look at the boat. I mean, being at Hubbard's all your life, right? You're looking at a boat full of anglers at any age you are, right? Y'all packed them in. What can I do to impress is what the little kid says. Well, the little kid drops on light line and goes out there, and he caught 25 today, little Dylan.
You want to hear?
I want to be the
hear the
kid
full
with
story.
The big dog.
You want to hear the full story? So when I was younger, 8, 9, 10 years old, I would go out on the 39-hour trip by myself. And I thought I was the coolest ever. Boat full of 40, 50, 60-year-old dudes that were super salty, smoking cigarettes, cussing up a storm.
Guys.
I was like, whoa, where am I?
Yeah.
And my parents let me do this. This is awesome. I'm going to stay up all weekend, eat Snickers bars, and drink Mountain Dew, and catch a bunch of fish.
Do what I want to do.
Yeah. And it was awesome. But everybody was fishing 60, 80-pound tests, these big hooks, big baits, catching some grouper, big amberjack. I was an 8-year-old kid. I couldn't handle a big grouper. And back then, Cap Matt Shimp was the captain. May he rest in peace. Great guy. Taught me a ton about fishing. Red was our first mate. May he rest in peace. Great, great, great dude. Taught me a ton about fishing too. But those guys were brutal to me. And I was not the owner's kid out there. I was just some snot-nosed kid who didn't belong, and they treated me as such, which was great. It was great for me looking back, and it taught me a lot. But if I messed up, if that gag grouper broke me off, rocked me up, oh, man, they would come over the PA. We got to pull the anchor and move because Dylan lost a fish in the bow and shut the bite down for everybody. It was brutal, man. But it taught me a lot, and it held me to a higher standard. And then at the same time, I knew that I would target my fishing to what I could be most successful at, and catching the most amount of fish as quick as I can and not getting broke off at the same time. And trying to land a gag grouper when you're mangrove snapper fishing is not easy.
But it's happened, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Real rewarding when you pull up that big gag.
And it's real rewarding to not be in the jackpot and wheel off the boat the biggest stringer of the most and biggest fish.
I know this. That my whole life, when we went fishing, everybody talked, even when you think about the trip we went on, we caught a ton of fish.
Yeah.
But when we stepped off the boat, 94-pound wahoo. 94-pound wahoo. Nobody's talking about all the mango snapper we caught. 94-pound
Well, if we didn't catch the 94-pound wahoo,
it would have been the 35-pound gag
that we released.
That Mahoney caught.
No.
To be a scam.
It would have been all the great fish we had for dinner that night that we caught. The lanes and the mangroves. Yeah.
Yeesh, I'm not sure about that. I know this.
The showstopper was definitely the 94-pound wahoo.
Well, and it always seems like the big fish. Even tournaments are big fish. It's not the most.
I mean, there's a lot of most tournaments too. But I'm not arguing with you. I mean, the big fish is definitely the one that's memorialized. That's just not my style of fishing.
You were talking earlier.
I would rather go for more action, more bites, and catch a quality fish like a mangrove snapper.
Yeah. I'll just say this as a guy who knows nothing about actually fishing. Every time you've told me you have mangrove snapper for me, Mike Mahoney, I've been pretty psyched about it. After the first time.
See?
The first time I was like, okay, I don't know what that is. Ever since then, I'm like, yes, it is delicious.
It is.
But if you had to guess, Pat, on that mango snapper that I gave you, that thick fillet that's about 4 inches thick, how much would you say that fish weighed? Was it a small fish or big fish?
I have no idea.
now
big fillet?
Now the
not
stream,
a huge fish, probably, you know.
Now this stream is getting into it. Jason Patrick said, do you hang the big one on the wall or do you hang a bunch of little ones?
That's right. Now, Dylan's got the bait school on the wall. That's what he's got next to the Live, Love, Laugh.
No. I just enjoy catching a lot of fish and having a good time doing it, man.
When y'all built
It's all
that
part of it.
display, which was the coolest display well before its time.
Yeah, my dad,
the only
huge.
thing I'd ever seen that was close to that, they had at a kingfish deal or something where you could catch marlin. Do you remember that when you're sitting in the fighting chair?
Well, that's where my dad got the idea.
Yeah, I'm sure. But when he came out with that, he didn't put an 18-inch snapper in the hole. He had a monster gag. Am I right?
Yeah. No. So what you're talking about is the grouper simulator is
That
what
is
we
so
called
cool.
it. We're at a fishing show, at a Florida Sportsman show, and they had one of those boxes on the ground with the video
That's right.
simulator of catching the
Pretty
fish.
neat.
And you could choose what fish you wanted to catch in the box that
That's
was
right.
bolted to the ground, pulled on your fishing rod. It was so cool. And the technology was awesome. But like at the time, this was 10, 15 years ago, it was like 10 grand, 15 grand
Right,
to get.
right.
I actually looked into it because I wanted to buy that same box is still floating around.
Yeah.
Maybe we should partner on that. Be cool. But long story short, we wanted that, but it was just ridiculous amount of money. Plus there was a lot of technology behind it that you had to get, and it was still kind of new, and you had to get it from like some weirdly overseas company that no one spoke English. We looked into it, and you had to wire money somewhere overseas. It was weird.
Send a sample of blood or something.
Yeah. So we ended up building what we call a grouper simulator, which was essentially it was a trailer that we made to look like the back deck of the Florida Fisherman, and it folded down, and there was this big grouper rock, and then out of the hole came a grouper, and you had to pull the rod at a certain angle and hold the rod correctly to make the grouper come out of the hole.
Now, was that all fully automatic, or
Someone said, hey, can you let Mahoney know that he needs to do some work and release some more of those Tales from the Dark Side podcasts?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, so
I am.
They're calling you out for being lazy.
Well, and you know what? that tells me people are listening to it. You know, it was one part of the advertising push that I did. To me, it's like a radio show.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. I'm ready to do it, you know what I mean, to get more rolling. It was just getting through the holidays, dealing with some issues this winter through, you know, my dad had passed away, so I kind of laid off because I had video to do, and as you know, it's a full plate, and if you don't really have stuff written down, you will forget to do stuff, but I will get back on.
And I
that
understand
for
you're
sure.
part-time. It's hard to get everything done.
Part-time. He don't know what work is. What were we talking about earlier? Your wife wanted alone time or something.
No, family vacation.
Family vacation time. You know what that is? Where you want to go. Where do you want to go?
Where we are going as a family is Orlando. Yeah.
Then why don't you just send them?
Because that's not accomplishing the goal of spending time with my young children.
Here's a good one.
I know
for you.
you don't have this problem, but I'm younger. I've got a kid that's 3.5 years old and a daughter who's a year and a half.
Yeah,
I want to
most
spend
of
time
that-
with my kids.
Well, the problem is at a year and a half, she ain't going to remember nothing.
But I
So
will.
Birthdays
But I will.
and all that. You don't need to buy all that stuff. You don't even. You don't.
It's
start,
for us. It's for you. When your kids are that young, going to Disney World and doing the family vacation thing. It's for you to remember. It's not for them.
We went to Venice, Louisiana, Key West, Longboat Key.
Oh, we're gonna go to Key West. I enjoy taking my kids. Love going to the beach, and both our kids are into fishing.
Ain't no way they can't be.
Yeah.
I got him a little fishing pole at Dogfish. It was like a crappie fishing
Little
rod.
mini, yeah.
Dude, it's so soft all the way through the rod butt, and a little 1000 series Daiwa Procyon super light reel. So it's like the perfect setup for a pinfish.
What's awesome too is you can talk about, and the kids and families love it. I loved it. I did it all, Busch Gardens and everything over there in Orlando. But I promise you, you give that kid a fishing rod in a beach or go to the woods.
Yeah.
They have more fun than all that other money we spend elsewhere.
Oh, yeah. It's more memorable, too.
Yeah.
Like, looking back in my younger years, the days that I went out on the 39-hour with my dad, or we went out on a 10-hour trip, or especially the days that he pulled me out of school and I got to skip school to go fishing. Those are the days I remember. I don't remember the vacation.
Well, and you know what? You really didn't skip school that day. You went to
the real school.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. You learned some stuff. You were talking earlier about being on that boat as a kid and your parents letting you go out there, and nobody took it easy on you. Mm-hmm. It made me think, Bill Miller, a great guy in the fishing community. His son, he came to me and said, "Hey, can you put my son to work back here in the shop?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "Don't take it easy on him." And I didn't. First project was clean the alligator blood out of my boat. Yeah, it's been there about 3 days, but dads are good. They have a good reason to do it, and look at who you are today.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We'll be right back.
This place is run by a bunch of children.
Bill said, "Don't take it easy on him, Mike." And I said, "Are you serious, Bill? You're saying that too? I mean, I do a real wide variety of stuff here as far as work goes." And he goes, "Don't take it easy on him." And I had a boat sitting out there for about a day. Alligator blood, might have been 2 days. Maggots starting to grow in it. He pulled that boat in the shop.
Yeah.
Walked past it. The bilge pump turned on. It was solid blood with maggots, and it hit him. Boom!
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how old, maybe 18, maybe 17.
I would have thrown up.
I go, "Hey man, watch them through holes. They get you."
Terry Farner said, "Good program today. Keep him honest, Mike." Gotta watch them through holes. That's funny. Terry Farner, what's up, brother? Deke Darcy asked about Kingfish tournament weather for next weekend. I assume you mean King of the Beach. Doesn't look great. It looks like typical Kingfish weather. Looks like near shore not too bad, 15 to 20 basically, with a pretty decent chance of rain, a west swell with a south wind. So nice washer machine. 3-foot sea, blowing 20. Solid kingfish action. It's kingfish weather for King of the Beach for sure. So it'll be sporty, nautical. Yeah, sorry about the feed being frozen, William King. I don't know what happened there, but seems like we're back up and running. Phyllis Ripley, good morning. I'm going to hit the head. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go nowhere.
what this person says.
0129. Good luck from Reese Windows and Doors.
Whether you're looking to accessorize your new truck or maybe freshening up the look of an old one, the pros at Ideal Automotive have you covered. They specialize in tires, rims, lift kits, load leveling helper springs, and airbag kits. They have all types of covers to keep your gear dry and secure, and also do spray and bed liners, window tinting, and have all kinds of trailer hitches from fifth wheel, gooseneck, and frame-mounted hitches, and have a complete line of adjustable hitches in stock. Ideal Automotive, 8507 East Adamo Drive in Tampa, or you can call them at 813-621-6655 or go to idealauto.com.
Aquatraction Marine Flooring has changed the game. Unlike other brands, Aquatraction has the highest density foam in the industry, which increases overall durability and abrasion resistance.
Calling Peanut. I think he's got 9 siblings.
Peanut's got 9 siblings? That's crazy.
I think there's like 10 of them. It could be 9 of them, 8 siblings.
Either way, that's a lot, man.
That's a lot of people.
Can't imagine.
I had the 3 sisters, so 4 total kids in our family. It was a lot. And it's a lot for parents, too. I just don't understand. My dad...
It was nothing. Parenting's nothing.
Mm-mm.
Them stay-at-home moms, they don't work. They
Oh, my God.
I
do not endorse this message.
Is your wife a stay-at-home mom?
I'm not answering that question because
work?
I don't want.
And
she does work
for a vacation.
Dude, I know if I stay at home with my kids all day, I am worn out. I'd much rather go to
know
work.
what I used to do? My wife would go somewhere or whatever. I was blessed, stay-at-home mom, because I had twins. When she took off for a couple days, week, whatever it was, I don't care what happened. You don't call her and ask her nothing.
Yeah.
And when she walks through that door, the house is clean.
Yeah.
Like it's no big deal. I did it. You can do it. You listening to that, ladies? Want to hear that crap?
Yeah.
You need a break. You should have thought about that.
You wanted to have these kids, is what you're saying?
Oh, I mean, it's part of it. Our parents, my mom worked a full-time job with 4 kids. But look at me, a little slack. I was the last
This
one.
is what your kid will be.
This is what it'll end up. That 4th one will be an animal. The first 3 were jam up.
It's the show that'll have you hooked. Literally, the T.A. Mahoney Real Animals Fishing Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
We're back talking fishing, throwing jabs as much as we can. Don't forget Butler Boyd, the best in the business. John Butler was in this week buying trailer parts from me. It was nice to see him, and then he came back in. As we talked earlier, you imagine running into a trailer while you're on your cell phone, and then you go to talk to the guy that owns
he's a lawyer.
the trailer. Oh, and
he's a partner at a law firm.
Butler Boyd.
Yeah.
Not just, it's like they send me stuff, like a calendar or something. And when I see that letterhead, that's the last thing you want to see. What's a lawyer sending me that for? I finally got used to it.
The John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan had that commercial about where he got hit from behind. That'd be like hitting Butler and Boyd from behind. You get in a car accident, you hit someone from behind, you're already in trouble, but they pop out and it's some high-powered lawyer.
I think Butler Boyd can actually drive their vehicles. I'm not sure Morgan can.
Yeah, there's some contention from that.
Priors. Hey, something I was thinking about.
He probably called Butler and Boyd to get him out of it.
And we're going to get Pat in on that, right? Pat's a sports guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's what he does.
In sports.
Is he a sports guy?
I think he knows a little bit about sports. But in sports, like let's just take football.
Dude, are we still on this?
Are we talking the most yards? Like at the end of the game.
This is a 2-hour show, right?
If a guy throws 500 yards but never scores the big touchdown, do they talk at the end of the game to the losing team with the most yards?
I think the reason you're so caught on this and you won't let it go is because you're so very emotional about the fact that you got outfished on that trip.
Outfished biggest fish?
Sounds like we need to do this again. You caught 1 fish.
It was the biggest. It was a 35-pound gag grouper. It wasn't a bunch of 18.
If I go out on a fishing trip and I catch one fish all day, I don't think I would have the cojones to continue to talk smack about that trip.
Okay, so all
for
the
years
boxers,
to come.
all the boxers that fought Tyson that had 114 swings at him, and he had 2. Who did they talk to at the end? Because he had.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm truly impressed by your will and your tenacity. You're just like your dogs at the thing. You just latch on and you won't let go.
Well, it's because they know the truth. See, a dog can't be persuaded by, you know what I mean? They can't be flim-flam.
Yeah, if I got a squeaky toy and a nice juicy steak, I think I could sway a dog.
Do you want the dog that gives him like a bunch of little bites or the one big bite?
Well, that's a little different. That's a little different, Pat, because a dog will take that big bite and it'll be gone. You're better off feeding it in little pieces to survive.
Yeah.
Because that's what would happen at our store. You better have a truckload of steak. Because when they're done eating steak, they're going to forget about that.
No, I remember doing a seminar at your place, and after the seminar was done, it was late. You were closing up, so you were letting the dogs out. I was scared. I was making sure I was in my truck and outside of the gate before those dog kennels opened up.
You know, I've been reprimanded before by city of Tampa, but I used to go there, you know, at night. It was a nice place to go. Like my guys from Louisiana would come in, a good place for a cookout. Bring them in, lock the gates, and cook what you want, and you're not bothering anybody. You're in the middle of the city there, away from really anything after 6 or 7 o'clock at night. People driving by, of course, but not a lot going on over there. And we'd do fun things. Like I don't know if you ever had pit bulls where they like biting rope, right? So we would, and all mine were trained to bite rope and hang from a rope and swing a 100-pound dog around on a piece of rope. And I was doing that one night, and animal control came the next day and asked me what I was doing. And I'm thinking, look at the dog. The dog would let go. If the dog does not like getting spun around, holding on to a piece of rope, I lift him off the ground. He's 100 pounds, kind of showing how strong the jaws are. Everybody that knows big dogs, stuff we do. And they were trying to tell me that was abuse.
Oh, boy.
But he wants to grab the rope. I said, do you want me to show you? Because as soon as I pull the rope out, he's getting excited and wagging his tail. That doesn't look like torture to me. But anyway, I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
I took the rope down. No more hanging.
So you can be quilt. You can be quilled, huh?
Yeah, you know what else I heard too, and this is really neat that I think we have in our cities, and a lot of people don't know about it, but it's good to know. There are cameras that if you shoot a gun, they instantly start filming everything in the area, zooming in on tags, and I mean, so
there's audio pickup across this, and they can actually, using those cameras and a lot of those audio things, they can actually hone into where the gunshot came from.
That's right. It's unbelievable how much technology, and nobody's even manning this.
Nope.
As soon as the
AI.
noise goes off. So just to let you know, if you're going to discharge a firearm, don't do it like in in an area where those cameras are,
I love how we can see Pat roll his eyes.
It's not illegal to discharge.
Yes, it is.
To shoot guns?
In
All
city
your
limits.
people from Mike Mahoney.
Yes.
No, I didn't say anything about shooting people.
It's just discharging a firearm in general. I know in Pinellas County it's illegal within city limits.
I mean, you're in Pinellas County. Hillsboro's totally different. I've been in the city.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the same in Hillsborough County.
Yeah, it depends on how big the property is and what you're doing, how safely you're doing
You have
it.
to be outside of city limits. If you're in like city of Tampa proper, you can't discharge a firearm. It's not legal. Like where I live, I'm technically in the city of Seminole, and it's illegal.
You know what? And I believe you're right, because I was with Jerry Williams one time. We were right downtown. We had a 50-pound cobia. Shot him in the head with a .357. TPD came out. For some reason,
You were in the Hillsborough River downtown Tampa.
I was a little bit, but we were aiming down there
Behind the convention center with
I
the
remember.
.357.
Tampa Police Jeff Foote worked out of Marjorie Park, kind of pulled up to us and said, "Hey, nice cobia." Said, "Yeah." They go, "What's the hole from?"
We're like, oh, we shoot them when they come up to the boat. So, you know, a cobia comes up to the boat, looks at it, especially a big one.
Then wakes up.
He leaves. I don't care what tackle you got. He's leaving or leaving with you if you're locked into it. So
don't ever stick a green cobia.
Well, you
they
shoot
haze
them.
me.
You shoot them. That's all you got to do when they come up. You pop them in the head, but don't be in the city limits.
Yeah.
I can tell you that from experience.
So
and don't
you
be
do know.
unsafe with it. I do know that because I've been told about that.
That's why they make silencers, by the way.
Oh, I don't do all that. I don't need to hide nothing. Now you got Pat rolling his eyes on that.
Yeah.
Can't talk about that stuff. Back to fishing. Louisiana. Let's talk about guns and shooting. You know, one time we were in Louisiana, and I had no idea of, you know, the rules or
That doesn't
national
surprise
wildlife
me.
sanctuaries or any of that stuff. And do you know the whole river?
Yeah.
Like the end of that river, 20 miles.
The whole
is-
delta.
Yeah. So we're out there, and my buddy brings a little gun and mini 30 or something, ranch rifle, and we found it easier to shoot cobia there. You know, so we're popping them. We catch one, bam, shoot him, throw him in the boat. You know, meat fishing.
Yeah.
We're playing your game, trying to get as many as we can, but it's a bunch of big ones, unlike what you're used to.
Okay.
But anyway, we come in the river. And we did some coyote and nutria removal for the state. And
Yeah, you're welcome.
we came on in, and the guy at the Marina, this is probably 20 years ago, and he's like, hey, what kind of gaff do y'all use on that cobia? Like gaff?
A big one.
Like a mini 30. And he goes, do you know you're in a national wildlife refuge? You can't even have a rifle in the boat. So, of course, young people, we weren't thinking. We had all shells all in the boat, you know, and just kind of evidence. So I was throwing them out in the river as he was telling us. But, yeah, don't bring your rifle.
Yeah.
Not a good idea. How about you? Any shooting? No violations from the fish cops on shooting guns?
No, I shoot a lot of guns offshore. That's one of my favorite things to do. Is that's what I grew up doing. When I shoot
Flying fish?
shoot 30-06, my AK, any of that stuff. It was always offshore. When I was a kid, I think I was probably 7 years old. We may or may not have. We were heading offshore, and
You
it was
can
a
always
really
say, "I know
long
a
trip.
guy."
Yeah, I know a guy, and we had these 8-hour trips offshore, and I had to kill time. So my dad would give me the 22 rifle, and he had this long banana magazine.
Oh, yeah.
And it held 50 22 long rifle.
Took you an
rounds.
hour to put 50 in it.
And your fingers were
Yeah.
silver with all the lead. And it had a scope on it, and it was semi-automatic, and I just sat on the bundle of anchor line in the bow of the boat and just try to pop flying fish for 8 hours straight.
There's an art to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not as easy as you think.
Trying to hit a flying fish with a 22 long rifle through a scope on a moving boat, it's not easy.
Well, and you
Made
know
me a
what?
great shot, though.
That reminds me. That's what it's like when you go to Tampa Bay Sporting Clays.
Oh, no, dude, that's cheating.
Well-
Because one day I was like, I'm fed up. I'm going to bring a shotgun. So I got a 410 with some bird shot. I didn't miss a flying fish. I think I
ate 'em
put a
up.
dent in the population.
But you know what happens?
It was easy.
The fish come out of nowhere, and it's the same way with Tampa Bay Sporting Clays. I used to think Mike and Ben would talk about it years ago, and I used to think it's like my buddies would sit there and clay shoot. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to go waste my time. I finally went to that, and you talk about having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a great time. I was putting double-aught buck in my buddy's gun, and then he finally said, why are your shells different color than mine? Because your shoulder's hurting and mine's not. Hey, man, I think we got one more segment.
I think so.
And I'm here with Captain Dylan Hubbard. You got Mike Mahoney, the big guys, doing something today, playing girls' sports, I think, softball. But we'll be right back.
Playing girl sports. When we come back, I'll do that weather thing and the Reese thing, and then we can plug Bartow, and then we'll be covered.
Golden. That's June 6th.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Today I'm going to Venice.
Nice. That would be fun.
11 days.
Holy moly. 11 days. That's a nice long vacation for someone who's working part-time.
They don't roll over.
My vacations don't roll over. I have to use them. I'm not like, I only get 2 or 3 weeks a year. 35 years, they give me 2 weeks.
Oh, that's funny. 35 years. This nice, beautiful studio. They got trash cans that are baby size. Nick Niaz said, I would have loved to grow up with Mahoney, the stories we would have told. Alan McCooler said, love Mahoney. He gives cops funny stories to tell at parties. That's funny. Robert Miller, good morning, my friend. Mahoney's hiding from the brake camera. Mahoney and Pat are hiding from the brake camera. Nick Miev's glad you guys, the Sunshine Skyway Fishing Club, had a good trip yesterday. That's awesome, man. Scott Cole, yin and yang is a great representation of Mahoney and myself. We definitely are very much alike, but very much opposite at the same time. It's pretty funny. Oh, Jack Wagon of the Week. William King, you're right. See, I messed up and I let Mahoney sit in the wrong chair. Jack Wagon of the Week. That's what we got to bring up, too. Man, the commercial breaks are long on WDAE. Rick Gellis, what's going on, man? The Florida is doing good. Life is good. Fishing is good. Everything's going well for us right now. And she's still running trips, looking good. The 39-hour trip killed it, Robert Miller. They had... Will said it was the best trip since last summer. They have a ton of fish, big mangroves, big vermilions, big old pile of fish. Unfortunately, couldn't be there to get the pile in, but it was one of the best trips since this past summer, he said. They crushed them. So the 39-hour did extremely well. They one-stop shop on vermilion snapper. They got over 300 fish in one stop. I know Mahoney only cares about the big ones, but they caught a lot of fish, which does tend to matter. Do you want the one big sale, or do you want to make a lot of customers happy at T. Mahoney's?
Both. Whatever's there.
Yeah.
But I'm fishing for the big sale. Right? My goal is the big sale. It's not, I wanted to do a bunch of little buck connectors. I'll do that.
Uh-huh.
But I'm focused on the big sale.
Uh-huh. See, I just want to make everybody as happy as possible, so I'm focused on making a lot of
that's
little...
a bad analogy, because the happiness has nothing to do with bigging the most.
It doesn't. They all got to be happy, right?
Well, when you're talking customers, absolutely.
Yeah. Beastie Boys.
You know what we forgot? Jackwagon of the week, man.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
You got one?
I mean, what we used yesterday, the jackwagon of the week. See, I don't have a jackwagon for Sunday because this isn't my show, but...
Could just be you guys for not having one.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the jackwagon of the week that won for Saturday's show in the Hubbard's Marina page voting was the emergency alert system for Florida.
Oh, that 4 in the morning.
4:50. Yeah, 4:50 Thursday morning. That was
You know
pretty
what's
fun.
weird is I didn't even get that, and I'm actually up anyways.
Yeah, I was up since 4, so it was nice to have the rest of the world wake up early that day. But I think what it did is it successfully taught everybody how to turn off their emergency alerts on their phone. That's what it did.
Somebody told me that even with the phone off, like I powered mine off, I never heard it. I sleep pretty heavy, but they said it still comes on.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
Woke you up?
My phone's never been off. It didn't wake me up. I was already up, man. I was about to start my workout. It's been up. I wake up at 4 every day.
Wow.
Yeah. Whether I'm off work or not.
See how long that lasts.
It's been a long time. Hasn't changed.
Yeah, it gets nice sometimes.
Nah.
Sleeping in. Let's go back to the most or the biggest. So, like in a boxing match. We've already talked.
Let's not go back to that.
You know, I thought people wanted to talk about that. Yeah, we better talk about something.
Yeah, like say our Bartow Ford Real Animals Fishing Conversation coming up June 6th. Make sure you're there.
Who's
Free
he going to
food.
have?
It's going to be himself. He's going to have himself.
Hopefully
Cap Mike
you'll be
Anderson.
there.
I'm hoping to be able to make it. They're
I'm
going to be
sorry,
talking
I can't
tarpon
make
fishing.
it.
Yeah.
The
There it is.
18 will be there. Big Fords.
Big Fords.
Big tarpon.
Dude, what happened to you? I noticed this morning, like I kind of, the CCA Tampa thing, I noticed that I was like, that's got to be Mahoney's truck, but it doesn't look like Mahoney's truck. And this morning it's confirmed you no longer drive a big Ford.
No.
What happened?
I was tired of getting beat up.
So
I
you
don't
went,
tow. Now I'll tell you this,
you went from your nice manly truck to that grocery getter that you're driving out there?
Well, what you don't realize, Dylan, is
so you
how
like
many
big
of
fish,
those
but you like
are.
small trucks.
What's small? For one, I could start the opposite way in a quarter mile. Give you the jump.
I would love to
I'm
actually
going to
put
start
that.
the opposite way. Give
You don't know what's under the
jump.
hood of my truck,
It
my
doesn't
man.
matter. It sounds like a bunch of rocks in a washing machine. Or dryer is what it sounds like to me.
We need to find a spot to go run this.
You haven't looked at the number on that truck before you started talking trash.
Yeah, I know you got the Corvette engine in there.
Well,
I
and
saw it.
supercharged, Whipple supercharger.
That's cute.
You know, I mean, it's 780 horsepower. Little peanut you got.
You got 996 with 1,286
Yeah, but you got
pounds of torque.
10,000 pounds. I got 4,000. I'm going to eat you up. It's going to be done.
You won't be able to see the road.
I will be able to spin around and jump ahead of you before the turbo gets spooled up. Unless you got some kind of line lock on
Cold
them
air
brakes.
intake and twin.
Where's Peanut? Peanut's my race car buddy. Peanut's listening this morning. I know he is because he called in.
Yeah.
Peanut's got a bi-turbo, no turbo.
Uh-huh.
He's telling us about
Bi-turbo, no turbo.
Yeah, twin turbo with no turbo. That's what he told us. I hadn't got my turbos yet, but it's a twin turbo motor. What's that?
He's saving up for the turbos.
Yeah, not the biggest, the most, right?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I can imagine walking off the boat and having like a news crew interviewing people, right? What'd you get? Oh, I got a 35-pound gag. Oh, yeah, I got this. And then you say, I got 27 mangoes. Well, good for you. That's probably what they'd say. Keep going. Good for you. We want to talk to the guy with the 94-pound wahoo.
You carry off one fish, and I'm dragging my stringer. They definitely want to talk to you.
You know what the joy of that trip was? It was a time to get out there and hang out with you. But I'm telling you, watch that video. When you gaff that fish,
dude, I'll never forget it.
Pulls up the happiness. You and the mate, is it shortstop? What's his name?
That is a captain.
Shortstop.
Step stool Mike.
He got the
Splash
name.
Baker.
Mike Baker, and the happiness between. I mean, that right there is not a show.
No,
that is the real deal, and it was just such a good time, man. We had a great time out there.
Yeah. I'm a big boy. I'll never forget sticking that fish because I've stuck a lot of fish. I've stuck the gaff in a lot of heads before, and I've never stuck a fish that I put all my weight and energy and strength behind that gaff.
Make sure it wasn't coming pulling back.
I stoned him right in the head, and
you did.
That fish didn't move.
Yeah, that
like
was perfect.
Normally you hit a fish hard and it'll come out of the water. It'll jostle the fish around, and you feel the gaff move with it. It was like sticking a log.
Those big fish like that, when you haven't, and I haven't done a ton of them, you know what I mean? It's like a big tuna or something like that.
Yeah.
When they come in, it's kind of you're kind of wondering what's fixing to happen. When you know, you're willing to do it and you're ready to fight him, right?
Yeah.
The big fish, but you really don't know. And I can tell you
he was dead when he hit the deck.
Decent wahoo, not that big. I gaffed myself. I gaffed a 90-something one time. I was the second man in.
Yeah.
But I've done some big tuna over 100 pounds, and it's kind of an eerie feeling. For one, you want to make sure that they're not down. You know, so many people get in a hurry. I've been taught, Ernie Rubio, the guys in Louisiana, Tommy, they all have taught me how to use a gaff. And
wait for the shot.
Wait for it. We were in Louisiana. Guy gaffed a yellowfin 3 feet under the water. Bam. $100, $200 AFCO gaff broke.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to lift it. And I noticed what you did that day was perfect. When you hit him in the head, his head was up, out of the water. It wasn't digging. That's where you get in trouble.
Yeah.
But the one to be the most careful for is that cobia.
Oh.
I have been whipped.
Yeah, never stick a green cobia. And the one thing about that fish that we caught, that big wahoo, is we caught it on light tackle, on mono, and we had to fight it on light drag. Yeah. By the time that thing got to the boat, it was pretty tuckered out. Yeah, but you bring in a fish like a cobia, especially a big cobia, like you said, they'll often swim to the boat just to check out what's going on, and then they really make the run. And if you make the mistake of sticking them when they're green,
I've done it.
It'll put a hole in the side of your boat.
Yeah, it's you got to hold on to that gaff. The worst thing to do is to pull him in and let go of the gaff. It's going to get real dangerous at that point.
I'll never forget being the second man on a free gaffed green cobia. So it wasn't even hooked. It was just on the side of the boat, and the captain at the time stuck him in the head. And he was like, "Get over here, stick a gaff." And I was like, I didn't want to. I didn't want any part of that.
Nah.
But that fish beat us up. I'll never forget that one.
I did it with Fewoks one time. Louisiana, 50, 60-pounder. I was the second man coming in. You hit him in the head, I'll hit him in the body. Boom, boom. We hit him right at the same time. Well, Mark's gaff came out. Now I got the 50-pounder center mass because he had the head. And I pinned it against the boat.
And he's just flopping.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I put my knees on the gunnel, and I knew Mark was coming in. Well, the next time, I walked to the bow when the cobia came up. I said, there's 5 other guys back there. Let them do that. Yeah, I did the last one.
Yeah, and want to make sure you get a chance to catch a big trophy fish like that. Whether you want to get the most or the biggest, make sure you take advantage of the weather window we got coming up here early mid-work week. Around that Tuesday timeline looks like the best weather. We got King of the Beach weekend coming up next weekend. Looks like it's typical kingfish weather. Going to be a little bit sporty and make it a little bit more challenging for folks, but definitely a good little weather window there around mid-work week, specifically Tuesday, Wednesday. So hopefully you'll get a chance to capitalize. If you missed it yesterday, man, the fishing was stellar. The 39-hour came in this morning, and they had an absolutely spectacular catch, one of the best catches in probably a year or so. Big vermilions, mangroves, some nice red grouper, scamp, triggerfish. Everything's biting really well. So take advantage of this little weather window midweek to get out there. Remember, this weather report was brought to you by our friends over at Reese. They're celebrating 51 years as the fastest and most trusted impact window and door company in Florida. And they install in just about 6 to 8 weeks, and you can win them absolutely free. If you pick up your phone and text the word HAPPY, HAPPY, to 20129, you get a chance to win $15,000 in new impact windows from Reese. Again, 20129 to text the word HAPPY for a chance to win.
Yeah,
Pretty
get
awesome.
it done before the hurricane season. Hey, here's another question for you, Dylan. So you and your wife going to go into Best Buy and buy a new TV.
Yeah.
You getting as many little ones as you can, or you buying the one big one?
And
be done with it.
Honestly, I want as many little ones as I can to make
In
one
the
big
living
one.
room?
Yeah.
So you want a bunch of plastic frame in between where you can't see it all?
No. I realize that you don't understand technology, and this is all a little bit
I've
above
seen it.
your
Is that
your
what you have
grasp.
in your living room?
But you have panels now, so you get
Is that what-
LED panels.
Is that
and you
what's
can
in
put
your
them
living room?
Not yet.
Okay,
but
so
I aspire.
what's in there right now? One big TV? I see the flim-flam. I see the flim-flam for sure.
Is it the end of the show already?
I can't believe it. They cut us short here.
Yeah, I feel like
think
we got
Mike
gypped
tells
on some
them.
time.
Yeah, it's not the A-team, bro. This is Sunday B-team.
Welcome
the A-team. Welcome to the B-team.
Don't forget to check out your Coppertail Brewing Catch Beer. There is Catch Beer in store already. So if you go to the Zoo Tampa, Party Liquors at Land O'Lakes, the Publix in Odessa, or the Publix on Gandy Boulevard, you can catch the brand new Catch Beer by Coppertail
And I'll
Brewing.
tell
Real
you,
animals.
Coppertail, been over there twice
Awesome.
since Mike had it. Right down the street from the store, the Smash Burger.
Oh,
So good, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
They have food too.
Oh, yeah. Probably plenty of catch at Coppertail, too, by the way. If you're near there, go in the showroom.
There you go.
Yeah, I was there.
Check out the new Real Animals beer. Catch.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Thanks, Dylan. I appreciate you coming in today.
Anytime, man.
Helping me out. I couldn't have done it without you. It would have been me and Pat talking sports, and we'd have probably talked about, it's like the baseball player. He bats 300. Well, they lost. How about the guy who batted 50 that hit the one big bomb? That's the guy they're talking to, Dylan.
I don't think so, Pat. I don't think so. We're going to have to talk more about this. But don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy.
In Kazakhstan, we love animals.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be
I
a
think
man.
if you're talking baseball, I think that's a bad analogy. I think the team's going to take the 300 batter every time.
Well, now you're talking about picking somebody. I'm talking about in the game.
Oh.
The guy who hit 50, but a home run to win the World Series.
But he struck out twice? You're
struck
talking
out
about
all season. But then the guy who bats 450 on the losing team, they ain't talking to him. He walks through like this, and they go on, man, we got this guy back here. He hit the fucking home run.
Thanks for bearing with us this morning, guys. Appreciate
I
y'all
forgot
hanging
that was
out.
on.
Yeah, you got to say goodbye.
See you guys.
Yeah, he's just going to keep making the same point. So
Big fish. Oh, I caught a bunch of 18 inchers. No, I caught the 35 pounder. That's what I want to hear.
Have a good day, y'all. Happy Sunday. Don't forget, tonight, 7:30 p.m., our live stream show, and we're going to be out there in Tampa at 2 p.m. Hopefully, we'll see you out there for that Bass Pro Shops event. Y'all have a great day, tight lines, and hope